Don't take it personally, babe, it just ain't your story, onwards referred to as Don't Take It Personally, Babe, is a visual novel set in a high school. The game covers themes such as degradation of privacy, the internet and the impact of online social networks, and sexuality. The game was created by Christine Love, a writer and game designer who has created several games such as Digital A Love Story and Analog A Hate Story. The game places the player in the role of a high school teacher in the near future in a society where online privacy is a dated concept. What this means is that teachers have access to students' private messages, and as the player, most of the game revolves around navigating these conversations between students, as well as choosing between dialogue options when talking to others in the classroom. The principal of the school justifies the spying as a way of cracking down on cyberbullying, but the students have no clue that their online privacy is being invaded by their teachers. The game has multiple endings based upon the actions you choose to make as the teacher. Characters are well constructed, and the personalities of the students mingle and bounce off each other in interesting ways. One relationship in particular I found especially heartwarming, and really well done. Numerous ideas and thoughts are put forward during the course of the story, and there is a rich display of themes being brought up during the game. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to talk about one particular moment in the game. I believe this is the most impressive moment in the entire experience, and is an impressive piece of meta-commentary. The story comes to a point where the teacher is casually browsing the private messages of his students. A message is sent between a couple where one girl, Kendall, reminds her partner, Charlotte, of the time she sent her some nudie pics, and politely inquires whether she'd possibly consider reciprocating. Charlotte shyly agrees, and after a few moments sends a link to an attached image file to Kendall, saying that the password to view the image is Kendall's middle name. When the player clicks on the link, a password screen pops up. Now this is an important moment. Assuming the player wants to see the image, whether to test whether the game has been built with these images available, or just for the sake of seeing them, they might assume that they can check Kendall's in-game social network profile to find her middle name. So the player may choose to look over her profile. However, Kendall's middle name is absent. If the player still wants to find out the password, they may be struck with a thought, maybe I'll look up her middle name online, it's got to be out there somewhere. When the player Googles something such as Kendall's middle name, they will more than likely find a link to Christine Love's own website and a post specifically made to reveal Kendall's middle name. Her middle name is revealed to be Morgan, so the player switches back to the game and inputs the code. Sure enough, this opens the link and the player is given access to a series of pics of Charlotte in a state of undress. Now just reflect on this moment for a second. You, as the teacher, have access to a private message between two students discussing and sharing nude pics. As the teacher, you can access their private information online, but not to the extent that the main character can find out the hidden password in-game. And so you resort to using the power of the real-world internet to invade someone's privacy. Unlike much of the game, where the player is more or less forced to listen in on private conversations made between students in order to progress, giving the player some distance from the responsibility of their actions, this scenario is entirely one that the player makes, as the teacher character has no access to the information required to access Kendall's middle name. The player comes to an understanding that it was they themselves who chose to access that personal content, using the easy access to the internet as a means of breaching privacy. And this highlights one of the game's main themes, the idea of privacy versus self-control and personal boundaries. Just because something personal or private can be accessed online doesn't mean it has to be. Responsibility falls on us as individuals to display self-control. Even in our modern age, where the concept of online privacy seems to be something slowly being taken from the general population, immensely personal information can still be restricted if people follow their own moral compasses and refuse to access it. Anyways, that's just one idea in a game full of them. Such a minuscule moment in the game, but one that elicits so much thought. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, a like or subscribe if you want, it'd make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.